back to Infant Investors. It's back to earnings season, and we're going to be talking about what happened yesterday, Tuesday, October the 29th, with AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, Shopify, and MasterCard. So let's get straight into it. Advanced Micro Devices reported its highest quarterly sales in more than a decade on Tuesday, but a forecast that came in slightly below expectations sent shares on a seesaw in late trading. AMD reported third quarter net income of 120 million or 11 cents a share, compared with 102 million or 9 cents a share in the year ago period. Adjusted earnings were 18 cents a share. Revenue rose to 1.8 billion from 1.65 billion in the year ago quarter. Analysts surveyed by FactSet had forecasted adjusted earnings of 18 cents a share on revenue of 1.81 billion. One of the reasons why I wanted to choose Advanced Micro Devices is obviously because it's a massive company, but I get it a lot in the comments about would I invest in AMD, would I invest in AMD? And AMD I've never really looked into, and that's why for me personally, when I first started going on my journey, I looked into every single stock from a fundamental standpoint, and then the ones that hit a certain criteria I then looked into further. Because at the time AMD never fit what my criteria was at that point, I never looked into it further. But actually I think it's something that I'm going to look into a little bit more, see what they do, and see actually if it's something worth investing in, because my criteria is changing. You guys know that I am going to be tweaking, what I see as a good investment in the year 2020, and we will see if AMD will be a part of that. But no, good earnings update for AMD. Well done. Now, Shopify stock falls on earnings miss, bulls focus on international growth. Shopify earnings missed third quarter analyst estimates on Tuesday as the company swung to a loss amid high investments and a one-time tax provision. The Shopify earnings news sent shares in the builder of e-commerce platforms down, though bulls focused on international growth. Shopify reported a loss of 29 cents a share, including a tax provision of 48.3 million tied to a capital gain. Revenue rose 45% to 390.6 million, the company said. A year earlier, Canada-based Shopify earned 5 cents a share on sales of 270 million. So you can see that they earned 5 cents a share on 270 million. This time they earned 29 cents a share on 390.6 million. But because of this 48.3 million tax provision, shares tumbled. It's interesting how, for me, this is like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like football, when, like, I don't know, you're selling a player that gives you 20 goals a season, but for the last 3 games he hasn't performed. It's like, why would you focus on the last 3 games when the whole season he's giving you 20 goals a game? Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But that is what happens in the market. When there's a little bit of bad news, it can cloud actually the fundamentals, and I always say go for the fundamentals. Shopify stock tumbled 3.8% to close at 312.52 on the stock market today. Okay, the reason why I am so vim on Shopify right now is because I invested into Shopify yesterday. You guys will find out more in my portfolio update this week. This is where I made a mistake. So I invested prior to earnings because I expected the earnings to grow. And one of the reasons why I expected earnings to grow is if you look at Shopify's earnings estimates and where their actuals are, you can actually see that what you can see here is the actual is green, the estimate for this website is blue, and the Wall Street estimate is black. You can see quarter after quarter, they are always above Wall Street's estimates for me. So in my mind, the data would suggest that in this quarter they would be above estimates, and you know what? They were below estimates. Just my luck. When I get into it, it goes below estimates. However, to be honest, I still see this as a great stock for the long term. I see this as a growth stock, which is the reason why I invest into it. So I'm not too upset. I've only lost like 4%, 3% or whatever. And it's definitely something that I'm going to continue to invest in the future. Gross merchandising value jumped 48% to 14.8 billion, topping estimates of 14.32 billion. So they're doing really, really well on their metrics. Shopify stock, international investments pay off. Shopify reported Q3 results with solid GMV growth and continued traction with Shopify Plus and international growth initiative. Credit Suisse and analyst Brad Zelnick said in a report to clients. He added, while some may focus on the decelerated magnitude of beats in operating income, we note fundamentals continue to be strong. That is the line. And if this is what Credit Suisse man are doing, then I might as well do that too. Fundamentals continue to be strong, and many of the bottom line issues were one time or due to a merger and acquisition. So yeah, there is going to also be some of these blips, but the fundamentals are really good. So, I'm going to carry on. Let me carry on so this video isn't too long, but I'll probably do an expose on Shopify a bit later on. MasterCard earnings beat on top and bottom line. MasterCard beat earnings expectations. $2.15 per share adjusted compared with $2.01 expected. Gross dollar volume came in at 1.7 trillion, up 14% from the year earlier period. A lot more spending and a lot more. It's interesting. That's very interesting. What does that tell us? MasterCard reported third quarter earnings on Tuesday that beat analyst expectations on the top and bottom line. Shares of MasterCard were up 1% in pre-market trading. Here's what the company reported compared with what Wall Street was expecting based on a survey from analysts by Innovative. The reason why it will only be 1%, even if it's such a good earnings, it's just because it's such a mega cap company, and there's so much liquidity in that company already. Then shares won't rise. It has to kind of be a smaller company that tends to have bigger spikes. Earnings per share $2.15 adjusted versus $2.01 expected. Revenue $4.47 billion versus $4.42 billion expected. Gross dollar volume, the dollar value of all transactions processed, came in at 1.7 trillion, 14% higher than the year earlier period when the company reported a gross dollar volume of 1.5 trillion. Domestic dollar volume increased to $494 billion from $442 billion during the third quarter of 2018, almost a 12% increase. Listen, you guys have to look into these numbers. They are telling you something. If 14% year on year more credit card transactions are happening, what is that telling you? I'm going to leave you to think about that, but don't worry, more videos will be coming on this week where I'm going to be talking about that, Shopify, probably AMD, and a whole lot in the more details, because these three stocks are very, very interesting. This one if you're a dividend investor, Shopify, and AMD if you are a growth investor. So yeah, hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like, please comment, please subscribe, and I will catch you next time with another investment video. Peace.